So this time, let's set up a character, set up so we can go interact with them, and then they'll tell us what to do. So I've just got this lovely, jubbly character over here. In fact, you know what? We're going to need to make a blueprint out of them. The bloody access points off again. You know what? It doesn't matter, because I'm going to replace them anyway with a character from Mixamo or something that I'll grab later on. They're just placeholder for now. So for now, I'm just going to create them. Are they going to walk around? Well, this is just a... No, they're not going to walk around. They're just going to be an actor. And this doesn't have a rig or anything anyway. So let's rename this Farmer Yumi _ BP. Also, apologies for anyone who gets that reference. I have a 4-year-old child. So let's browse to the asset. Right, if you right click, you can often just say browse to asset, or you can find it here as well and say browse to asset, and that'll show you where it is in your folder directory. But anyway, let's stick that there. Also, they were a little bit short, weren't they? So let's just give them a 1.5 scale. And in the same way that we did before, let's have them add a box collision. And this is going to be the part that they will interact with you if you go talk to them or stand next to them. So, like I said, this is just a model, but really at this point, you know, you'd have it set up with an idle animation, and then, or like a signaling, you know, maybe them waving. But we'll come back and we'll tweak that at a later point. I don't want to get bogged down with that stuff just yet. So, with our box, in the same way that we did before, let's scroll down and let's get a begin overlap, and let's go back to our viewport and let's get the end overlap as well. Now, what we're going to say is when it is overlapped with the third person character, then we will switch animation. So I'm just going to put a little note here. Talking anim. So we'll switch to our talking anim there, and we're going to create a widget. Now we don't have a widget yet, so let's quickly move you out of the way, and let's go back to our user interface folder and create a new user interface widget blueprint, and we'll call this text box. Oops. I always like to put an _W in there. What are you going to do? And let's grab ourselves a canvas panel. And I don't have an image. You know, you might want to get an image, but I'm just going to put this little placeholdery text box down. Again, don't forget to Z order it backwards. And you know what? Let's just make it blue. My gosh, that is ugly. But you know what? We're not here to make it pretty right now. That'll do. And if you, once you put your image down, if you put text down as well, we're going to want a text. And in the same way, drag your bounds so that they're relevant. I remember before we turned on auto wrap. So set auto wrapping to be on. Set up your font so you're sort of happy with it however you wish, be that white or black. Mine's quite a bright background, so I'm just switching it to black, and maybe that should be able to do like 2 lines of text block there. So this time what we're actually going to do is this text block we're going to bind to a variable, right? So to do so, I'm just going to go to my graph, and I'm going to create a new variable on the left hand side, which I'm going to call texty. Now, the reason I'm doing this as a variable and not just typing in the box is because often we might want this to change at different scenarios. Now, I never remember, is it a text or a string? I think it's a text. Right, so with that set, we're going to go back to our designer, we're going to click on our text block, and we're going to bind this to our texty. So now, if we compile, hit save, go back to our farmer, and let's create text box. And in here we're going to set texty. And we're going to want to add this to the viewport. Add to viewport. And well, let's type it in. Hello, I have lost my chicken. Letter. Whatever that means. Let's just put, I've lost my check-in. Chicken. Cool. And let's give it a test. Make sure that we replace this. You know, if you ever leave your old one in, if you go into your folder and select your new one, you can right click on this and actually just say replace, and it replaces with what you got selected. Look at that. Cool. Let's walk over to this farmer. It says, hello, I have lost my chicken. Yay. It's not much of a request, is it? Will you find it for me? Cool. Now, again, reason we've done this on here is because we actually want the person to do this based on like two different things, right? So what I'm actually going to do is if I create a branch, right click and type in branch or if, or hold B and left click and wire that up, and we're going to create a variable here. We'll just do it as a test. We won't actually set it on the NPC. We'll probably set it somewhere else. So I'm not going to. Yeah, you know what? We'll check on here for now, for the sake of explanation, and call this hasn't completed. So name that as appropriate. So by default, I'm just going to hit compile and go to across it, and it hasn't completed. Oh, maybe we should. Grammatically, actually, I'm going to just rename that to has completed. No. If it hasn't completed, then say this. However, let me just grab these and change this into here. When we have completed it, this is what they will say. Hey, wow, thank you. So we've tested it. Let's just, make sure we get our references wired in. We'll go to our character. They should say, wow, thank you. See? Hasn't completed is should be set to true. And then later on, when it's done, we'll set it to be false. Hello, I've lost my chicken. Will you find it for me? Yes, I will. So we're going to set and control that later. But for now, I think that's going to be just the basic setup of our NPC. And again, we've got this end, so we can actually do different things. Like I'm just going to get another print string. So this is where I'm going to play beckoning anim. So when you walk away, they'll be like, hey, come back over here, do my thing. We could even, if we had multiple animations, depending on at what point our completion's at, we could actually play different animations. So if they haven't completed it yet, then we'll do this. However, if they have completed it, we'll do like a thank you anim. Thanks anim. Cool, look at that. I think that's going to be more or less our player setup. What we're going to have to do next is we have to have a chicken that we'll have to bring somewhere. Oh, we've not got that widget to expire. We need to have that widget moving. Almost got that. So go back to the thing. After we create our widget, like we sort of did before. In fact, we can save ourselves a bunch of time by actually just doing this directly on this graph. So when it's constructed, do a delay of, I don't know, 5 seconds, and then remove from parent. Alright, cool. That looks good. Let's do a save all. I haven't save all in a while. Alright, we'll stop it there. Next time, we'll get the chicken set up.